and welcome to episode 16 of the podcast. This is so exciting. So I talked about how I was looking through my old blog that I started when I was like 10 years old or something, or 11 years old. And I stumbled upon a very interesting bucket list that I wrote 10 years ago. And so I'm going to be exploring that bucket list on this episode and seeing the things that I've done and the things that I haven't done, things I don't want to do anymore. And I'll talk a bit about how writing and journaling and documenting things is very important for reflecting and looking backwards and looking forwards. So yeah, keep listening. This is another unscripted episode, which reminds me that my next episode is going to be about how I actually do the podcast. What my process is now. I've changed it already once in the 16 days that we've been doing this. So I'm excited to share that. But back to today's topic. So the very first thing on this list is that I want to wear makeup every day for an entire week. Now, I don't know why I would write that because I do not remember the last time I wore makeup. I think maybe when I did my birthday shoot last year in 2023. And before that, I don't remember anymore as well. Oh no, I did makeup on my actual birthday. My friend did my makeup for me. But yeah, so that's very interesting. I wonder what my mindset was, where my mind was at that time. I also have on the list that I want to watch 3 movies back to back in the cinemas. I think I might have done this already at some point. I'm not sure. Or even if not in the cinema, at home, I've definitely done a movie marathon thing where I watched 3 movies back to back. Quite recently, actually, in November, I had a pizza party with some friends and we watched 3 movies back to back. Buy gifts for 3 people for no reason. I definitely have probably done this. I also challenged myself to stay completely silent for another day. For a whole day, an entire day of not saying anything to anyone. I don't think I've ever done that. On here, I have go a month without drinking soda. Well, 18-year-old me, 14-year-old me, however-year-old me will be so proud because I haven't drank soda in over 5 years. I literally cannot remember the last time I drank soda. I'm not going to go through all 50 things, but just some of the interesting ones. Another one I see here is that I wanted to create my website and get my domain name, and I did that. I also wrote that I should write a letter to myself to open in 5 years. I did not do that. I've never written a letter to myself, actually. I just have all my journals and things that I've written down about who I am and how I feel and what I hope to do. But a dedicated letter to my future self is not something I've ever done. But I guess in a way, this is a letter to my future self. Another very random thing that I don't know why I would have written that is to binge watch Saw. I would never, right now, I don't even see myself watching that. Why would I want to watch the entire series? I apparently also wanted to learn Mandarin and sign language. I did not learn either of those 2 things, but I am learning Dutch, so that counts for something. I also wanted to finish the Twilight, Harry Potter, and Artemis Fowl series. I have only finished Harry Potter. Learn at least 3 programming languages. I guess if you count learning HTML 7 years ago, then I did do 1 out of 3. Complete a 1-year Bible reading plan. I've done this twice and I'm doing it for the 3rd time this year. Last year I didn't finish it, but this year I will finish it. Deactivate my Twitter for a month. I've been off Twitter for so long that I'm so shocked. This was a big deal to me then because I was always on Twitter. I could not imagine not being on Twitter. And now I've been off Twitter for months, and sometime in 2020, 2021, I was off Twitter for 8 months. And it's so shocking to me that I can do that now. Learn to swim and learn to ride a bike. I finally did these 2 things last year when I moved to the Netherlands because it's practically impossible to live in the Netherlands and not learn how to do those 2 things. So I was very, very happy about that. I also wanted to run 20 kilometers. I don't know what I was on when I wrote this because the longest distance I've ever run is 10 kilometers. And I did that when Nike had a marathon in Nigeria. I don't remember the year anymore, but I did a 10-kilometer race. I finished it in an hour and 30 minutes. I don't know why I did that because as at that time, I hadn't even been running for long. And I think the longest distance I had run by that time was 3 kilometers or 5 kilometers. But I did it and it was a great experience. I wanted to do a road trip. I have done 2 or 3 road trips now. I'm very excited about that. And I look to do more road trips actually in Europe because I'm in Europe. do a road trip. It makes sense. So probably add that to my new bucket list that I'm going to make. Do kickboxing, boxing, or something like that. I did do kickboxing last year, and I will continue this year at some point. But yeah, I actually have done, or to an extent, completed many of the things on this bucket list that I made when I was God knows how old, 10 years ago. And I'm very proud of that, that I didn't even remember that I had this. It was just looking through my old blog that I stumbled upon it. And it's very interesting to me how I have changed in some ways and how some things are pretty much still the same. And so that's really it. It's so beautiful to be able to look back at where you were, how you were feeling, what was important to you, or what you thought was your goal or desire X number of years ago compared to where you are now. And it's refreshing to be able to look back to see the things that are different about you and the things that are still the same. Like there's a lot of things related to books on this list. Read books by African authors, read books by South American, African, and Asian women specifically. Read at least one Wole Soyinka book because I've never been able to get into Wole Soyinka, even though I've been reading for so long. Do a spa day. Like these things are things that then were such big deals to me. I could never have imagined having a spa day by myself. But that is something that I've done a couple of times and I do regularly, although not since I moved here. But the point is, it's exciting to see things that I wanted to do that I still want to do, like take dancing classes, uh, tutor, teach. I've always loved teaching, and I'm just so happy to be able to see that I've accomplished some of the things that me of 10 years ago wanted to do. And I can see some of these things and say, nah, this is no longer important to me anymore, and I don't care about it. And that is fine. Like I said in the last episode, yesterday's episode, you are free to change your mind if you want. And the last most interesting thing on here that I actually did do was go vegan for a week. Sometime in 2023, for a whole week, I actually made everything. I didn't buy or order anything. I went vegan for that whole week and I ate only vegan food for 7 straight days. It was a very interesting challenge because I'd never gone vegan. But that was nice. But yeah, so here is to challenge you to try new things or create a bucket list for yourself and explore interesting things that you may not have wanted to do before. Thank you for listening today. I hope you got something out of this. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of A Couple of Things. If you enjoyed this episode or found any part of it insightful, don't forget to share with your friends on your social media and be sure to leave a comment or a review if you can on your podcast listening app. Thank you.